Hello YouTube, this is Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome to another tutorial video on my channel. And today I will be showing you how I create the podcast videos. So first of all, I record using Fraps when it comes to the podcast. When I'm in Skype, you'll see a screen like this. I make sure that everybody has a video camera and they have their cameras on. Obviously you've got the three in a row there. You have Hef, you have Lord Rex or so, and you have Stiffstrat, and then you've got me in the much smaller box, looking slightly drunk, as a matter of fact, but or a bit confused anyway, in the bottom there. So what I do, I go into Fraps, which I'll bring up by here, and I go into Monitor Aero Desktop, DWM. I select that, and that basically captures everything on the screen. So you have one save file of everything on the screen like this. So I'm capturing all four cameras in one recording. Okay, so we're on Sony Vegas right now, guys, and as you can see, I've done a little bit of stuff already just to get us going. Basically what I've done, I've put the artwork on the very top line. So I have tactical difficulties and I have the four screens that I use for the podcast. Beneath that I have four different video tracks and I have one audio track. The audio track's obviously the audio from the podcast. We only need one audio, so it's not really a big issue. The four different tracks that we have for the video are going to represent each camera that we're going to have in the boxes. So what we're going to do, we're going to select the first box here. We're going to go onto the video slash the pan crop tool, and we're going to edit this. So what we're going to do is try and get me to be in the top left, because that's where I put my name to. So what you would do, you would edit this until I feature, or until I am happy with the position that I've taken in the box. Now what you may have to do when you do this, if I just come out of it quickly, you may have to right click, go onto switches, and then untick maintain aspect ratio. That makes it a little bit easier to pull and push your boxes and try to fit into things. So what you do, like I said, is just get that nice and get it so it fits. What you could do, you could perhaps, like I've actually done this already, so if I go on to host top left, I fit in there perfectly. They are the specifications and sizes that I've done. It does take a few minutes to try and get the right sizes, but if you want to use some of these sizes as a guideline here, what I would then do is do what I've done. I've called this podcast host to top left, and I've saved it. This is from the podcast that I did a couple of weeks ago when I hosted. So I ended up on the bottom by here. So if you're on the bottom, put yourself first. Call it podcast host to top left or the top right or wherever, and then save the specifications until you get it in the box. Okay. And the other thing you need to be wary of is obviously I've got a bit of blue stuff underneath there and on the side. So what I need to do is go on to mask. Go onto the anchor creation tool, and I'm actually going to create an anchor basically around where my webcam is. So if I just do that, as you can see, it means that the other stuff doesn't get blocked out. So that blue that was by the side of the screen here, which took up that position of the camera there, is now gone, and we can see the layer underneath. So I'm happy with that, and that is the first one done. So create your kind of size specification with the camera, position it so it fits in the box nicely, save the preset so that you can use it again and become as much easier and quicker to use. I'm going to go on to the second box now, the second video track. So again, event pan slash crop. And what we're going to do this time, we're going to try and get Hef into the screen. So we'll drag it, we'll try and get the right sizes. Before we do that though, right click again, switches, maintain aspect ratio off, drag it until you're happy with the size specification. So we're just going to quickly try and get Hef into the screen right now. Might take a few moments, just try to get the right sort of sizes. So his webcam sort of starts there. Obviously need to make that a bit kind of bigger there. I wonder if I have the right preset for this. I can get him into the bottom right. We want to get him to the top right. I could actually just drag that down and then drag that back up. Ah yes, it's almost there, isn't it? So just like that. Missing a little bit of his head there. Drag it and pull it across slightly. Ooh, nearly there. So like I said, it does take a while. I'm trying to guess with this and doing a quick one at the moment, but do spend a little bit of time doing this because you can get a pretty decent one done. Just want to try and get a bit of his head, or at least the top of his head on here on this podcast. Let's just check the other ones I've done. Center at the top left. We want to get him so that he is podcast. Oh, there we go. Podcast left to right. So I've called it podcast left to right. I did have it. I could just move it across slightly. Yeah, and that is perfect. So do what I've just done there. Create your kind of your presets. Type them in once you're happy with the sizes and save them. So I'm happy with that there. But obviously Hef has this blue part now underneath him, which is going to be blocking Lord Rexasaur's position by there. So exactly the same thing as before. Click on mask. Make sure you're on the anchor creation tool and create a box around the webcam. So just a little box, and go off the screen like that as well. Little box around it, and voila, you can turn this into a negative so that he actually disappears off the screen, but make it a positive so that his webcam appears in the box and everything else off the screen gets deleted. And that's the second one done. So we're going to move on to the third one now. So again, right click, click on switches, untick maintain aspect ratio, click on the event / crop, and want to try and get Lord Rexasaur this time. So at the moment you've got me appearing, so I'm just going to check my presets. I've got Hef in there now. That's actually a good start though, because I can just drag this across because I've been using these existing presets, and look, I can get Lord Rexasaur in there almost perfect. So that preset that I use, if I just drag it across, I can get a pretty decent one then with what's his name, with Lord Rexasaur, because it was originally Hef's webcam preset from the previous one, just dragged across. So that fits there perfectly. But of course, Hef's face is now appearing in Stiffstra's box. So same thing again. Click on mask. Make sure you're on anchor creation tool. Make a box around Lord Rexasaur's webcam. Doesn't have to be perfect, but enough so it just deletes him off the screen. And then finally, we've got Stiffstra on the bottom box here. So again, it's the same type of thing. Make sure you just drag the boxes until you're happy and save a preset. But for time's sake, I'm going to go on to the podcast left to right. And I'm just going to drag this across until we see nothing. I know why that's the case, because I haven't done the switches. So make sure you got the switches done as well. Otherwise, it can be quite confusing. Podcast left to right. Surely. What am I getting? That's the bottom of my jacket there. So I need to be dragging that up, I think. Something's gone wrong here, guys. Just give me a moment. There we go. That's what I needed. Almost there. So just make sure it's drag and drop. And there we go. I mean, I can make that a bit more to get the whole of Stiffstra in like that. He's in there with his webcam and everything, his microphone and so forth. Save the preset. Like this podcast left to right is pretty good because you just keep dragging them across until you've got all three of them. I had to edit that one slightly though for some reason, but it worked out fine in the end. And yeah, they're all there. I mean, you can do the same sort of thing, and you can make a little box around Stiffstra if you want to, just for in case you want to drag your what's it called, boxes around. So I can drag that up. I can change the positions of all these now, and I know they're not going to get in the way of anything as well. And then of course you hit the play button, and look, if I skip frames, it can go bump, 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 bump. We're all there. We're all inside our webcam boxes. So that's what it's done. So to summarize this this kind of video, 'cause I am making a bit of a long-assed kind of attempt at doing this. 6 files are what you need. You need the audio. You need the 4 duplicated video files of the Skype call. You need your artwork. Each individual one of these serves as a webcam box. You edit that webcam box until the camera fits inside the box. You would then use the anchor tool to make a box around it and make sure it's on positive. If it's on negative, it blocks you out completely. So make sure it's on positive. That means that everything inside the box will appear on the screen. Everything outside the box doesn't appear, so it doesn't get in the way of the other cameras on the screen. I hope this tutorial video has been helpful. If it has been helpful, it would mean a lot to me if you could share this video and maybe give it a like as well. If you are thinking of starting your own podcast, I would love it if you could give me feedback on this video and if you think it's been helpful as well. I've been Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.